There would be some confusion on the charges that were leveled against Valentine Hatfield. Not only would he be accused of the murders of the three McCoy brothers at the PawPaw trees, but he would also be accused of murdering Calvin and Alifiar McCoy in some sources. We will get into how this confusion came about and what the charges against Wall Hatfield actually were. And we will ask the question, should he have been charged at all? All aboard the Kentucky-Tennessee Living Time Machine. Please fasten your seatbelts and keep your arms and legs inside of the vehicle at all times. But to get going, we need your help. We still need to fire up that time machine to transport us. Please help us by clicking on the like, subscribe, and bell notification buttons down below. Not only does this fire up the time machine for our flight back in time, but it convinces the YouTube algorithm that we need a bigger vehicle to reach more people who love history as much as you do. Now, back to our story. Arrest and conviction. Depending upon the source used, a total of 8 to 9 men, including Wall Hatfield, were arrested and brought to Kentucky to face murder charges and for resisting arrest. These charges included the murders of Tobert, Farmer, and Bud McCoy, and their sister Alifiar McCoy. There would be controversy surrounding this case, and it went to the Supreme Court that year. In the case of Mahon v. Justice, 127 U.S. 700, 1888, the question of extradition and bounty hunters would end up changing federal law. The Hatfield and McCoy feud would be the only Appalachian feud to reach the Supreme Court for a decision. Even though Valentine Uncle Wall Hatfield was convicted for his involvement with the murders of the McCoy sons, he may not have been involved in the attack that sent him to prison for life. Other than family lore and testimony of Sarah McCoy, there is no evidence that Hatfield was or was not among the group of men accused and convicted of the murders. Even among the newspaper reports of the event, Wall did not shoot anyone. If Hatfield was present at the shooting at the PawPaw trees, many accounts place him across the river when the event took place. We can only surmise that he was convicted on the grounds that he ordered the firing of the shots, if the newspaper account and Sarah McCoy's testimony are true on that portion of the story. Wall Hatfield was also not listed among the men who were present at the burning of the McCoy cabin that killed Alifiar. However, we have seen report after report state that he was convicted for her murder as well as the murders of her brothers. We can pretty well bet what happened there. Wall was convicted for the murders of the three McCoy brothers, but since the trials were all taking place at the same time, it is possible that the newspaper reporters did mix up his actual conviction with the others that were also being convicted in the trial. We do have the corrected version of the charges against Valentine Hatfield coming from the Virginia Free Press, dated November 13, 1889. Quote, the Kentucky Court of Appeals on Saturday affirmed the decisions of the Pike County Court in the Hatfield-McCoy cases. Valentine Hatfield, Plant Mahon, and Doc Mahon go to the penitentiary for life for the murder of Talbot McCoy, and Ellison Mounts will hang for the murder of the girl, Alifiar McCoy, the sister of the murdered men. Unquote. Not all who were accused were arrested. It is interesting that Ance Hatfield was not among those who were arrested and tried. Neither Kentucky nor West Virginia sought for his arrest in any of the events that took place, even though his location was well known and a bounty of $500 was placed on his person at one point during the feud. Ance Hatfield was never charged with the murders of the three McCoy brothers or for the shooting of the two young McCoy children, or the beatings, kidnappings, or other things that were done. Even though he was also known to use the courts to his advantage when it came to matters between the two clans of the feud, when the main trial was over, Hatfield was not on the run after that point in history. Many have pointed out that it may have been Hatfield's political connections that kept him from being arrested. However, his brother Wall had similar connections and was thus arrested, tried, convicted, and sent to prison. Wall Hatfield dies in prison. The report of Wall Hatfield's death was announced in the Logan County Banner, dated March 13, 1890. Quote, the death of Valentine Hatfield. Valentine Hatfield died at the Kentucky Penitentiary on the 13th of February. He was serving a life sentence for complicity in the mob that killed the three McCoy boys for the murdering of his brother, Ellison Hatfield. With the exception of this trouble, Mr. Hatfield bore a good name and was for a long time a justice of this county. Unquote. Wall did petition his brothers to help him escape from the prison, but no help came. This was because of their fear of also being arrested and charged with the murders. Valentine Hatfield died of an unknown cause in his cell block on February 13, 1890, in Frankfort, Kentucky. Wall would claim to his death that he was innocent of the charges against him. He was buried in the Penitentiary Ground Cemetery in Frankfort. So, the question remains, was Valentine Hatfield guilty or innocent of the crime of conspiracy to murder the McCoy brothers? We leave the answer to you. We have always stated that our audience sits as the 13th juror on these matters, and it is ultimately up to you to decide if you would have convicted Valentine Wall Hatfield or if you would have acquitted him. Thank you. We at Kentucky, Tennessee Living would like to thank you for watching our video series on the Appalachian feuds. Don't forget to hit that like button, as the more likes we receive, the more likely YouTube is to suggest our videos to other viewers. Also, to receive notice when we upload a new video, be sure to subscribe and click the bell notification button. Please be sure to double check that you are subscribed, as some of our viewers are finding that they are no longer subscribed to our channel. We thank you for continuing to support Kentucky, Tennessee Living as we are discovering the mysteries in Appalachian history.